Hey, hello folks, welcome to another video. It's been a long time since I've made another video. Yeah, I finally got rid of the doors. Just threw it out in the trash, so I am no doors. And so today, well, actually let me get the drinks out of the way. Got the bottle of water. Yes, if you're going to let your bottle of water sit for a long time, then put it in a glass, I don't know, or a aluminum container. Because suppose those plastic that the plastic bottle of the water put in, I guess over time, chemicals leach from it. But I go through plastic bottles pretty quickly. Turn on my. There we go. Yeah. So today I'm going to be smoking Romeo y Julieta Maduro Reserve, and this is the perfect size for a Maduro. I don't. And of course, this cigar is a small enough gauge that I can actually use my flat flame. You can see it. Don't tilt it towards your face; you'll burn your face. So it is basically a single flame, but it's flat. So it has the coverage of a dual flame lighter. Yeah, of course it is Cigar. It's a nice looking lighter. Sort of has the Art Deco look to it. That steampunk Art Deco look. Okay. Yes, this would be a easy 20. Of course, since I'm doing a video, 30-minute smoke. So something I'd like to get out of the way real quick is the ivermectin. People, the lefties making fun. Oh man, it's a horse dewormer. Yuck, 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 yuck. No, ivermectin is used for humans and animals as a dewormer, anti-parasite. For instance, here's my dog's heartworm medication, and I don't know if I can pick it up. And as you can see, ivermectin is listed as the main ingredient. And I guess the second is something called parental, and but ivermectin is the main ingredient. That's what kills the heartworm in your dog. Intestinal worm, if your dog happen to get intestinal worm. So my story is, went to Thailand, came back with intestinal worms. Needleworms, to be more specific. So they're actually pretty common in third world. So if you go to a third world, in my case Thailand, Central or South America, which is close to the U.S., but if you go to Vietnam, Thailand, places like that, it's a good chance you're going to come back, with worms. The State Department back then, this is back in 2013. They actually recommend you take HCQ if you go to third world countries, which I didn't do. Well, I don't know about now, since they consider HCQ and ivermectin as poisonous to humans. Yeah, but back then, and actually if you're in the military, you get like a super dose of HCQ. Yeah, and anyone who's a ex-military will tell you, yeah, man, we especially when you deploy, they give you like this. I forgot the name of the medication, but it's like HCQ on steroids. So I go to the doctor. He checked me out, did some blood work. Of course, they had to check my butthole. And doctor, yeah, you got worms. And so he gives me gives me a prescription of ivermectin. The thing is, I couldn't get it. They didn't have it in stock. They had to order from the warehouse. No, I went to like CVS, Walgreens, the big box, like my area, Walmart. I went to like the Albertsons pharmacy and stuff like that, and I guess HEB is south of here. Yeah, so if you're in South Texas, you don't have Albertsons, you guys got HEB. And they're all like, well, we got to order, it'll take like a week for it to come in. I was like, man, I got worms. I need it taken out now. So one of the pharmacists suggested that I go to a pharmacy that does their own compounding. Just so happened, I remember there's one close to my work. It's a mom and pop pharmacy. They've been there forever, and I've actually gotten prescription through them. So yeah, I know where a compounding pharmacy is. So I'll go there, give them the prescription. They're like, yeah, no, come back in 3 hours. We'll have it ready for you. So it's basically just one pill. That was it. One pill got rid of the worms. And of course, it was a pill for me and my wife. And I told the doctor, hey, it's both me and my wife, so I'm going to need you to, if you can, write a prescription for both of us. And he did. He didn't say, hey, man, look, ivermectin is so poisonous to humans. I'm going to need your wife to come in. I need to check her so that I don't prescribe you poison for her. No, he wrote the prescription for me and my wife. He didn't even check my wife. Yeah, if it was poisonous to humans. And yes, ivermectin is used in the third world. It's pretty much gotten cured. Was that the river blindness, which is basically a parasite that gets into your bloodstream, gets up to your eyes, and eats away the nerve, your visual nerves in your eyes, and can cause you to go blind. Elephantitis. All this is, of course, mostly in Africa, but South America too. Ivermectin has pretty much gotten rid of all of these, third world parasitic diseases. If you catch it early. If you catch it after you go blind, yeah, you can take ivermectin, it'll get rid of the parasite, but you're already blind. Same for elephantitis. If you wait until your limb gets to 3 times their size before you go to the doctor, yeah, you can take ivermectin. It will get rid of the elephantitis parasite, but now you're stuck with a big old inflamed limb. So in my case, yes, they say this back in 2013. I don't have the prescription. The one thing the pharmacist told me that, and I asked him, hey, I went to like all of these pharmacies, and they pretty much said, well, people in the U.S. really don't get worms or parasite infections, so we don't get, we rarely. Of course, the only people that are going to get it is people who travel to third world countries, soldiers coming back from third world countries, and yes, a lot of soldiers come back with some sort of roundworm, some sort of a nematode, either a hookworm, needleworm infection. And of course, it only takes one, depending on how bad the infection is. But it takes 1 pill to 2 pills of ivermectin, and the worms are gone. You poop the worms out. Yes, and of course I went online, looked up needleworm, and you can too. And a lot of people are saying, hey, if you don't want to go to the doctor. And it turns out, I guess little kids in the U.S. It's little kids, or I guess these people. I don't know. I think some of them were in the U.S., but some of them were like overseas. Who were saying, hey, you can actually use over-the-counter dog dewormer, to get rid of the needleworm that your kid picks up. Because what the needleworm does is that I guess it's in the fecal, like a infected animal, like a dog or something, rodent. They poop on the ground. The needleworm. Well, actually, the needleworm not only is it in their fecal matter, but it crawls out of their butthole. and that's how you know your butt itches, especially when you're asleep. I guess it knows when you're asleep. The pregnant females will crawl out of your butthole, and since we humans we wear clothes, you know, and we wear underwears, they can't drop because on an animal, they crawl the butthole, drop to the ground, and lay their eggs. You know, a animal, or in this case, a kid with a bare foot comes along, steps on it, it gets into it basically gets into the kid or the animal through the bare foot, the bottom of the foot. Or in my case, dirty vegetables. And yeah, that's how you get a lot of the roundworm infections in these third world countries. Is dirty vegetables that hasn't really been you know, properly washed. Because a lot of times, though, unlike us, you know, because we live in a, you know, in an industrialized nation, it's got sanitation, clean food, clean running water. Because we'll normally wash our vegetables under clean running water. To where in the third world, they will, you know, put the water into a basin, and then they wash all the vegetables in that basin. Of course, it gets the dirt and stuff out, but without running water, it's just, you know, you're just washing everything in the same slough of water. So yeah. So in my case, more likely it was some you know, vegetable that wasn't quite washed correctly, or you know, in running water. It was in a basin, and they were just swashing the you know, the I don't know how many different vegetables in it. And yes, thankfully, you know, luckily, you know, we live in the U.S. where you don't have to worry about parasites. You don't have to worry about getting, you know, a worm infection. But it does happen rarely, and kind of like what the pharmacist told me. I didn't ask the doctor because I figured, hey, I'm gonna go to CVS. The guy's going to give me ivermectin, and I'm going to be good. So yeah, so for the pharmacists, yeah, people who goes overseas to third world countries, soldiers coming back from third world country deployment, are the ones that they see with you know, with worms in their gut. And even our dogs, you know, even dogs in the U.S. I don't know, even though we give them, you know, deworming medicines and stuff, because dogs don't wear shoes. You know, they walk around barefoot. So yeah, there's a chance, but you know, most of them, you know, walk around in your yard. You know, what's the chance of your dog picking up a needleworm, stuff like that? And well, I guess a raccoon or, you know, or an infected possum could, you know, walk through your yard, poop in your yard, you know, deposit some worm egg, and of course, you know, as you know, your mama tells you, don't run around the yard barefoot. But you know, I as a kid ran around the yard barefoot and never got worms. And yes, I can vouch. All of those refugees coming over from Afghanistan, guarantee you 90% of them are going to have some sort of a parasite or some sort of a worm infection. You know, like I said, I went ahead and paid the $70 extra, you know, for a blood test, because doctor's like, yeah, you definitely got worms. He's like, he's like, yeah, I suggest you do a blood test and make sure you ain't got any other kind of parasite. I was like, how much is it? He's like, $70. I said, okay, you know, I'll pay the $70 out of pocket, you know, and pay the, you know, the doctor's visit was like, I think 120. So $200 out of pocket. I think it was $20 for the 2 pills of ivermectin. I think it was less. I remember telling the pharmacist, hey man, this isn't expensive at all. I think it was like $5.99, something like that. And yeah, it wasn't expensive. Yeah, I think it was like $5.99 for 2 pills of ivermectin, and that got rid of, you know, the worm in me, and probably the wife too. But she took it anyways. You know, her butthole wasn't itching, and yeah, and she is a sort of not hypochondriac, one of those people that are afraid of bacteria. I think hypochondriac. Well, anyways, so she took it too, and yeah, that's my ivermectin story. My let's call that an encounter with ivermectin. I had no idea. Back then I thought it was for humans, but I guess it works. Here's the deal: if it works in animals, it's going to work in humans. Now, I don't suggest you go out and buy. I don't suggest you start taking your dog's heartworm medication. It even says on the back that not for human consumption. And yeah, this ain't cheap. Now that I've actually looked at the ingredient, I know ivermectin is cheap. This is like $120, by the way, for a 6-month supply. So in 6 months I gotta go back to the vet. Yeah, get another 6-month supply. And yes, you're supposed to get your dog, yearly, yearly heartworm test, yearly parasite test. Basically, the doctor gives you, for the parasite test, the doctor gives you basically a medicine vial, I guess in the case of my vet. And when you see your dog poop, and they suggest getting a freshly made bun, you don't have to take the whole dog poop, but a pretty good, like a 1-inch size dog poop, if you want to use your hand, you can, but I didn't. I used a garden, let's call that trowel, a garden trowel to, cut it, pick it, put it in the vial, close it up, put it in a Ziploc bag, take it back to the vet. And I was like, you guys can get him to poop you guys can get him to poop while in the office? He's always poop when I take him for a walk. Yeah. So supposed to take your dog yearly, get him tested. Just like humans, you're supposed to go yearly to get your health check. The blood work. Check your blood pressure and all of that, and you're in and out like in about an hour from the doctor's office, or the facility that does the checkup. And a lot of times you're not even seeing a doctor. You're seeing a nurse practitioner that's checking you up and getting your blood, checking your vitals. You got any other questions? Nope. I'll be back next year. Yeah, Diet Pepsi today. So the question is, I guess if you do get, as I say, you go to like, I don't know, Guatemala, or you go down to Brazil. I wouldn't mind going to Brazil, but of course, with all this travel restriction, ain't nobody, countries like Thailand, they're well, not just Thailand. I would say Jamaica, pretty much any country that depends heavily on tourism, they're hurting big time. Like Thailand, you got you got doctors going back home to my mom and dad's farm. Like, I'm gonna be a farmer. Yeah, my mom's like, yeah, man, your cousin, yeah. Well, he ain't a doctor no more. He's not practicing medicine anymore. He went back home. He's planting bananas. I'm like, really? Well, shit. What the heck? Yeah, and I think Thailand has social medicine. But if the government runs out of money, first person that ain't gonna pay would be the I don't know how much they pay doctors in Thailand, but I don't know if their hospitals are in the same situation as ours, where people are like, hey man, I ain't going to the hospital. You know, you can check in, but you ain't checking out. You know, yeah, the crime is well, crime is through the roof in Thailand anyway, but crime is like blowing off the roof. You got prostitution is rampant right now. Drugs is rampant. Again, crime is blowing off the roof. It's just through the roof. It blew off the roof. People who live in Bangkok, who's got parents or relatives that own farms. They're out in the farmland. Lots of them are going back. Back home, back to the farm, and they're like, screw it, living in Bangkok ain't worth it. I'm gonna go back and farm some bananas. Your mom's like, yeah, your cousin's like, yeah, he's planting all this stuff. He's like, if food stops flowing, they won't go hungry. She's like, yeah, they're planting everything on the farm. And I got a little bit of land here where I'm at. Like I said, this summer I didn't try growing anything in the garden. I could actually, till up like half of the backyard and grow lettuce. I could still grow potatoes, because the potatoes, you just cut them in like quarters, stick them in the ground. Make sure you keep them watered, and you will have potatoes in about 3 months, or is it 2 months? And you can grow, and from what I read, you can grow potatoes year round. Yeah, even during the winter time. Yeah, so this summer I didn't try growing anything in the garden. The garden got overgrown by wild garlic. And the regular weed killer that kills everything else doesn't kill the wild garlic. But it overgrew the garden, and from what I've read, that all you have to do is keep your garden, have a weed whacker. So when the about once a week, or maybe twice a week, I'll weed whack the wild garlic. And from what I read online, people are saying, yeah, if you keep doing that, give it about a month, they'll start dying, because the trick to the wild garlic is to keep them from flowering, and eventually they'll die off. I'm like, okay, cool, I will try that. So that's what I've been doing. I've been weed whacking. As soon as I weed whack it as close as I can to the ground. And yeah, I guess it's working. So yeah, and I'll do it into the winter, and hopefully, I guess when it gets a little cold, I'll weed whack it down real low and then bring out the tiller. I've tried to, last summer before I planted all of my lettuce and beans and ghost peppers, which got eaten by freaking caterpillars. And I came out one day and was like, what the hell happened to my pepper? They didn't eat the ghost pepper, but they ate all the leaves, and they left the peppers on the branches, but all the leaves are gone. I was like, man, you sons of bitches. Yes, one of the biggest problems is pests. Aphids invaded my bean stalks. Ate up all my beans. Luckily, I was able to at least get at least about 3 harvests of beans before the aphid infestation got too bad, and then I just tore the bean plants out. But before that, I tilled the garden. I left, and that's I guess my ignorance. I left some of the wild garlic off to the side. I didn't till them over, and I guess it was those that I left that I guess they flowered and took over the garden. Yeah, and don't bother spraying. Kind of like the Roundup, the weed and grass killer. That thing kills everything. If you have like a spot where you don't want anything to grow for like a year, spray that Roundup grass and weed killer. It will literally bald that spot for an entire year. Yeah, that stuff works. I'll vouch for it. And I sprayed that onto the wild garlic that was off to the side that I didn't till over. It killed everything except for the wild garlic. So essentially what I did was clear out area for the wild garlic to grow more. It killed everything off except for the wild garlic. What are you doing, dog? So that's it. It's up to 25 minutes, and I'll, for those of you, stay healthy. Again, don't get sick. Yeah, it's been a while since I did any videos. Just and I haven't really been. This is like my in like a month or two. I haven't really smoked anything. Yeah, I know, and I went with the Maduro. Yeah, if you haven't smoked in like a month or two, I definitely don't recommend pulling out a Maduro. But this is a small Maduro. This is like a petite Corona. It's not a bad cigar. Yeah, Romeo y Julieta is a good brand. I say they are on the higher end of the price spectrum. As you can see, it's a nice, this is like a 1.5 inch ash. Nice, smooth burn, there's no curve. The burn edge is even all the way around. It's been even all the way around since I've been smoking it. Although it's not that hot out here actually. It is still August, and towards the end of August. And it's a very, very, very slight breeze. But it's not that hot out here, so that's probably why it's burning evenly. Of course, a nice V cut. I definitely recommend, if you don't have a V cutter, go get a V cutter. You don't have to buy the expensive Cigar one. They got cheapo, $5 V cutters now. Unlike when they first came out, the only guys who were making them were the expensive Cigar and Colibri and those guys. And yeah, so I definitely recommend Romeo y Julieta. Keep yourself hydrated while you're outside, you're smoking. Enjoy your cigarette, enjoy your cigar, your pipes. Wherever it's legal, enjoy your weed. Stay healthy. Well, yeah, I almost forgot. Supposedly, and you can look it up. I'm not going to link it, but supposedly, overheating LCD turning off in 3 seconds. Oh boy, there you go. But the video, it should still be recording. But supposedly, nicotine has been known to ward off COVID-19. So, get in your cigarette, get in your cigar. Unfortunately, we don't have nicotine, at least that's what I've been told. Now your pipe, and I guess if you don't smoke and you do the nicotine patch or the vapes have nicotine too. So nicotine up and stay safe. Thanks for watching.